Welcome back, everybody. This is going to be my follow-up video to the 3.5-inch suspension lift on my Tacoma. I apologize, I'm just off the road here, so there's cars going by. But to start off, this is not a build video. This is just going to be, I'm going to talk about a few of the things, a few of the issues that we found while doing it. And just maybe answer some questions if you're thinking about doing it yourself, because it's really not a big, it's a big job, sort of. I'll put it that way. So, if this is your first time in here, this is my 2019 SR5 Toyota Tacoma. And I've done a few things to it already, but this is the just a video on the rough country lift. I got this from Extreme Terrain. I'm not sponsored by them in any way. This is just what I put on, and I wanted to just kind of share it because they make it look easy in the video, and it is relatively easy if you have the spot to do it, and you have the right tools and everything. But so a couple things I want to talk about. I'll get up close here. You can kind of see in there the new upper control arms. It's a little sunny out here today. We're getting some unseasonably warm weather. But so I'll start with the basics of what it is. It's a rough country 3.5-inch suspension lift, and what that entails is, for the front end you get extended struts, which 3.5 inches longer, and you get the upper control arms and the differential spacers. In the back you get lift blocks for the leaves and longer U-bolts, and you also get the extended rough country shocks. With all the hardware. So overall, it's a fairly simple kit to install, but there are a few challenges, and some of the stuff is, you're going to watch that video and it's going to look like everything is straightforward. Well, it is and it isn't. So what I want to talk about is some of the challenges. So it does give the truck a nice stance. I'm actually very happy with the stance of the truck. I will say, on real extreme level, you can tell that they're still a little lower in the back. It's nothing extreme. I haven't figured out if there's a way to correct that yet, but it's nothing. I'm not super excited about it right now, but maybe something I'll address down the road. I'm saying maybe a 1/2 inch lower, roughly. And you can't really tell as it's sitting here in the driveway. You can't really tell because the driveway's not completely flat, but it does sit a little, just a touch lower. So what I will say, some of the things that they, and I'm just going to kind of walk around as I'm doing this, give you a shot of the other side. And it's a little sunny out today too, so like I said, it may be a little hard to see at times. I'm going to kind of get over here in the shade a little bit, so you can kind of get a little bit better view of it here. So we'll start with the back, because that's actually the easiest of the things to install on this thing. So you will have to remove your old shocks. Now, what I did find, this truck is 5 years old, and if you don't live in the north, you might not know this, but things get corroded pretty good here on our vehicles from the salt that they use on the highway. Overall, this truck is in really good shape underneath. It's not really bad, but even at that, I did run into a few problems getting some stuff apart, namely the one of the old shocks. The hardware was just crusted up and pretty corroded, so you can see kind of in there a little bit. If you can, it's kind of hard to see, but maybe a little bit of the top of the shock. But so we had to cut one of the mounts off the shock to get it out, and then overall the back was actually the easiest. I mean, you do have to drop your leaf spring shackles, and you drop that block in. Everything bolts back up with the hardware they give you. Other than that was really the easiest, part of the job. That, and also in the back, which I got separate from them, it doesn't come in a kit, oddly enough, is the differential spacers for the back. And yeah, really, you can't really tell. That's something you ain't gonna be able to tell. But I did order the Old Man Emu differential spacers from Extreme Terrain when I got the kit. So, and that's very simple. You just basically loosen the there's a mount. It's roughly about right in the center of the truck, maybe a little bit towards back, but and it just gives it a little bit of a drop to even out your drive shaft, so you don't have too much of a slant. But it was really simple. But moving on to the front, now the front's a lot more involved because you've got to move a lot of stuff out of the way. One of the biggest hurdles in the front, there was two of them actually, was the sway bar and the sway bar links, and we could not get them apart. They had corroded. The bolts were just coming apart. I mean, they were just terrible. So we did have to cut those, which adds some time to the job. Then you drop the sway bar out, that's fairly easy. You can install it all back on the you can install part of the sway bar links while you have it on the ground, so you can do that. One of the other things it's simple, but it's not on this, is the upper control arm bolts. You know, if you watch the Extreme Terrain video, they make it look very easy, but and it is in principle. But what they don't tell you is in the engine compartment where you have to slide those bolts, there's wiring harnesses in the way. There's even some of the brake lines are you got to kind of move those off. I don't know if you can kind of see in there. You can see that they actually give you the old mounts mount to the new upper control arms. Things like that actually are what makes the job a little bit harder. You know, you have to pull the wheels off, things like that. But it's a pretty straightforward kit. And now obviously you have to have the right tools for this. I suggest an impact gun if you have it, and if you have access to a lift, it'll make the job way easier, which we did, which was a blessing. But I suppose you could do this on jack stands. I don't know how, I can't say it would be real easy, but I guess it is doable according to what they say. I would rather not do it that way. So be prepared. Have a cutoff wheel. If you're down south and your truck's really, relatively low mileage, you may not have the issues we had with this one. But that was the big part. You have to move some stuff in there. They don't, like I said, the instruction video will tell you certain things, but it's not as easy as it looks on the video. But yeah, be prepared. Like I said, the sway bar links were the big thing, and getting those upper control arm bolts out, and then getting everything back in place. I mean, getting the strut in is pretty simple. I did have some problems with one of the old struts. For whatever reason, one of the mounting bolts on top just sheared off, taking the old one out. So pretty much junk at this point. But everything went in. All the hardware was there, which I thought was great. I mean, we didn't have to. Everything was there you needed. The directions were pretty straightforward, and other than that, like I said, if you watch the video, it'll give you the basics on how to do it. You will have to do, like I said, chances are you have to do some modification. One other thing you will have to do when you put the differential drop in the front, and they do tell you this in the video, so it's something to be prepared for. It's basically like a mount for, it goes under the radiator, and it's a bracket. You will have to trim that out to fit around with the differential drop in the front. I didn't have to do it in the back. It doesn't have a problem in the back, but just in the front. And you'll see that it basically goes from the bottom of the radiator support to the frame. So, and you do have like the covers underneath there to take off when you get in there. So be prepared to spend the whole day. I mean, it took us a while. I mean, we didn't go crazy, but it took a full day to do it. By the time we were all done, and we went back and checked everything. By the time you put your wheels back on, and also, while you have it apart, you might as well check your brakes, check your tie rods, all that kind of stuff, because you got to take all that apart anyway. So if you have any wear parts, so we did have to replace the sway bar links in the front because we just couldn't get them apart, the old ones apart. So anyway, if you have any questions, shoot me in the comments, and I'll try to answer it if I can. And but like I said, yeah, extremeterrain.com. This is the 3.5-inch lift, rough country suspension lift, and I think it retailed for about $800, $799, something like that. So it is a little bit, a little expensive, but if it's what you're looking for, which I think it really improved the stance of the truck, especially because I'd put the bigger tires on, so it really does help. It actually gives me a lot more clearance because I was having some rubbing issues in the front with the tires, and it basically cured that. And I probably could be able to run a little bit, maybe more aggressive tread if I wanted. So anyway, that's all for today for this video. And like I said, please like and subscribe if you like this. I'll be putting some other things on there. I got some other stuff that's going to be coming up on the truck, getting it ready for basically a bunch of trips this summer too. So anyway, thanks for stopping by, and I will see you guys on the next one.